You said Second Ezra.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 8.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So here it is. It's going into the story of the birth of Jacob and Esau. And it's saying that Jacob's hand held the heel of Esau.
Mm-hmm.
I've read that before prior to me having the Apocrypha. I've read that story in the Bible as well. It didn't make sense to me why the Bible made mention of him holding his heel. But here it is. We get some understanding. The word says, through thy precepts, thy gain understanding. Mm-hmm. And so here we have a precept out of the Apocrypha, which was taken out of the Bible, which was originally there in the original English translation in King James 1611. Mm-hmm. So let's get some understanding on why it is that Jacob grabbed Esau's heel. It's a spiritual and a figurative significance. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow.
So here it is. It's saying that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that, of it that followeth. So here it is. Right from Jacob's, Esau's heel, which is, it says he's the end of the world. Mm-hmm. And we know as we look today, and we look to see who is in control of this world that we live in, it's Esau. Mm-hmm. You know, it's called the Western world, you know, compared to the Eastern world. Like whether we're talking about America, or whether we're talking about Europe, mm-hmm. or whether we're talking about the land known today as Israel. Mm-hmm. That's who's controlling whatever's happening in the world today. You look at a map of the world, and if that map has the military bases of America on it, America has occupied the world. Mm-hmm. We have military bases at any point, basically, that you could speak of throughout the world. Now that's a conquest. That's colonization, whether you use that term or not. In foregone times of the past, you wouldn't have a fort or a military stance in another sovereign country's land unless you had taken over that country. Mm-hmm. Here it is. We got forts and military bases all over the world. So Esau is his world as of now. But it says, for Esau is the end of the world, mm-hmm. and Jacob is the beginning of that followeth. Mm-hmm. That world that followeth is what Christ came speaking, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of the Most High. Mm-hmm. That world that followeth is the salvation that that would be given to the Jews once that we've been made jealous of the Gentiles. They're in their salvation now. They're in their kingdom now. But there's a kingdom that is to come that they can partake in as well, so long as they get in line under Christ. Mm-hmm. So I came here just to bring some understanding to that. Let's go ahead and let's jump into Isaiah. Well, go ahead and read verse 10 before we do that. Verse 10 out of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6.
2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 10.
Start at 9 and go ahead and read down through 10.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that follow.
The kingdom of the Most High, the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead.
Verse 10. The hand of man is between the heel and the hand, and between the heel and the hand. Other questions Ezra asked thou not.
So he's telling him not to ask any more questions, mm-hmm. but it's just explaining that as soon as the heel, which is the end, the bottom of a person's body, that's the end of he's speaking of, that's the end of Esau's reign. As soon as Esau's reign comes to an end, Jacob's reign begins. And it's an eternal reign. And Christ will bring it. Let's go into Isaiah 14. And let's kind of get a little more understanding on this salvation that would come through a new kingdom and through a new reign. Okay. After the end of Esau's reign. Isaiah 14, start at verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. Again.
So here it is. He's saying that he will have mercy on this people. Earlier we were looking at how the scripture said that that he would punish Israel first because he had given them the laws and statutes of the commandments. But here it is now we see that he will have mercy on them again and will yet choose Israel. We read earlier that Israel was his chosen people. And it's saying here that yet again they will be chosen. Go ahead. After their stumble and after their fall and after because of their stumble and fall, salvation is given to the Gentiles, which would cause Israel to be jealous of this kingdom. He's going to again choose Israel. Go ahead.
I'm in the middle of verse 1. And the stranger shall be joined with them.
Go ahead and start from the top of verse 1 again.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Now when it's saying strangers here, the scripture is referring to those who aren't Israelites. So sojourners, or those who are not of the seed or not of the bloodline of Israel. Go ahead. And this is a prophecy to come. Understand, this is not yet happened. It's saying it will choose Israel. Okay. Go ahead.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So these strangers, or these people who are not of the seed of Israel, will cleave to Israel. Go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
What people? It's saying the people shall take them and bring them to their place. The people that is speaking of here are the strangers. The strangers are going to take them being Israel, and bring them to their place. What is their place? Let's continue reading. So what we have here in the beginning of verse 2 is the strangers that we were speaking of in the previous verse that will cleave to Israel. The strangers are going to take Israel and bring Israel to their place. Continue reading.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for the servants and handmaids.
So here it is. When the Most High chooses Israel again and set them in their own land, and the strangers will be joined with them and shall cleave to the house of Jacob, will cleave to Israel. And the people, being the strangers, the strangers are going to take Israel to the land. And as you read in other scriptures, they'll be bringing the children of Israel to the land as an offering to the Most High. Like, look, we want to be down. I'm bringing you your people. So it is that here it is, the stranger bringing Israel to the land, and it says, "And the house of Israel shall possess them." So the strangers are going to be taking Israel to a land, so that the stranger can be possessed once they're in that land. And what's going to happen in this possession in that land? The stranger will become servants and handmaids of Israel. So here it is. This people is going to come to you, be like, "Come on, brother, I got what it takes." You may not have a ship, you may not have a car, you may not have a plane, or you may not have the resources to get to Israel. Come on, let's go. I'm taking you. I want the Most High to see that I'm down, and they're going to take us And once they get there, they'll be possession and handmaids and servants of the children of Israel. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it's not going to be a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be in a case to where Israel is masters over them like Esau has been masters over us. Mm-hmm. It's going to be righteous. Continue reading.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Whose captives they were.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And they shall rule over their oppressors. So those who are being oppressed now, and those who are captives now, will become will become rulers over those who oppress and capture Israel today. Mm-hmm. You know how the scripture says the tail shall be the head, and the last shall be first. Mm-hmm. That's what this is prophesying of right here. That's what will happen. Let's get a precept off of that. Let's go to Isaiah 60. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 12. Speaking of the future glory of Zion.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
All right. So we just left Isaiah 14 saying that the strangers will be servants and handmaids to Israel. And we jump here to chapter 60. And it's saying, for the nations and kingdoms that will not serve thee shall perish. It's speaking about serving Israel. It's not speaking about serving the Most High. These strangers, if they're not willing and ready to serve those they have held as captives and those they have oppressed, mm-hmm. then they'll be wasted. They'll utterly be wasted. Now, and see, this isn't a thing for Israel to be boastful about or be prideful about, because it ain't nothing that Israel has done to make this to be. It's nothing, not of the power of Israel. It's the Most High. He just setting things the way that they should have been from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And as we will go into another precept, it'll show that this has been the way that it was supposed to be from the beginning. It was the Most High, Israel, mm-hmm. and the other nations. That's why he gave us that's why he gave Israel the oracles and the laws, the statutes and commandments, because Israel was responsible for giving it to the other nations. Israel was put on this earth to be servants to the Most High. And here it is, it's showing that the strangers or the Gentiles were to be servants and handmaids to Israel. And it sounds bad, and people could easily say that's racist, but nothing's wrong with it when we've been serving all this time. And the servitude that the Gentiles will have would not be anything compared to the servitude that we have suffered. It'll be a righteous servitude, and it'll be a joy. They'll be happy to be in that servitude, believe it or not. So it says, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Mm-hmm. Yes, those nations shall utterly be wasted. Mm-hmm. Now let's go back into the New Testament. Let's get back into Romans.